What is up, everybody, and welcome to the Yankees on Deck podcast. I'm your host, Matt Cunningham, and today was a tough loss. It sucked. There's no beating around the bush. Nestor Cortes got the ball for us, and he was great again. I mean, I was at the game, by the way, today, and he was magnificent. 7 shutout innings, gave up 6 hits, no walks, 9 strikeouts. I mean, he was pounding the zone, getting a lot of quick outs too, especially those first like 4 or 5 innings. I mean, it was just one after the other. Quick outs. The Rays were swinging out of their shoes, and they just could not dial him up. The fastball had great life up in the zone, and just the off speed as well was really complementing that fastball. He was great. Fastball was up to like 93, 94, and the Rays hitters just couldn't really do much damage or really no damage off of him. I mean, yeah, they got 6 hits, but they couldn't get any runs across. There was 1 or 2 innings Nestor got into a bit of a jam, but he was able to work out of it. And yeah, it just sucks because an amazing performance. Honestly, the best performance we've gotten from a starting pitcher so far this year. Like this is number one. This takes icing on the cake. 7 innings pitched, 9 strikeouts. I don't think we've had any other starting pitcher this year hit 7 innings of just 7 innings in general. I don't think we've had that. And not to mention, he gives you 7 shutout innings, no walks, no runs. I mean, gave up 6 hits, but he worked out of the little jams he was in. Most innings were just 1, 2, 3. It was fun to watch him pitch. Unfortunately, the lineup didn't do anything. The lineup was just completely non-existent today outside of Juan Soto. I mean, Juan Soto got 2 hits. His first at bat, he came up, laced a base hit to right field. I got it on film, actually, because I was sitting in the bleacher creatures, which is incredible, by the way. Super fun environment. I mean, I just love everything about the culture out there, the way they do the chants, in the first inning, obviously for each player, and then the chants that they do after that, like after the game, not for the players, but because that only happens in the first inning, right? Where then they wave and acknowledge the bleacher creatures. But then the little like "Let's go Yankee" chants that they do like during the game, like it's fun, But it sucks because they just couldn't get the big hit today, and you could just see everybody in that bleacher creatures. Just the stadium was packed. John Sterling, they did a ceremony today for him to kind of wish him well in his retirement. Played an excellent video put together by the Yankees on the big screen. It was incredible. 36 years he's been calling Yankee games on the radio. They said 5 World Series championships. And then they also said, too, which is nuts, like 5,036 games that he's broadcasted for the Yankees on air during those 36 years. I mean, that's just incredible. That's just wild to even comprehend. They gave him a jersey showing that number. So it was really cool in that aspect, and then all the players came out in the field. And yeah, it just sucks though. He would have loved it, would have just made for the perfect day if the Yankees won. But Nestor Cortes, I got to give him props. I mean, he went out there and he just busted his butt. He was working, didn't get there really weren't many full counts. I mean, he was attacking first pitch, so many first pitch strikes from him. This was the Nestor that we saw like 2022 Nestor a couple years ago when that first half people were saying like if he keeps this up, he could be an NL Cy Young candidate, or no, sorry, AL Cy Young candidate. I don't know why I said that now. AL Cy Young candidate, right? And that's who Nestor was a few years ago, and he kind of pitched like that today. I mean, he had it all working today. He was pitching like the old Nestor of 2022 that we were kind of missing the last few years. So, and this is a Rays team, like I said, is very good. Not a lot of names known in that lineup, but a lot of guys that can hit. You know, some more known. Yandy Diaz, Randy Rosarina. But also some lesser known names in that lineup that can also hit. Richie Palacios, being a guy that's come up, New York native, by the way, and has kind of taken on the Rays by storm a bit. And then you just go up and down this lineup too. Like, other guys that Ahmed Rosario. Ahmed Rosario used to be a shortstop by the Mets, by the way. He played for the Mets and then he was traded to the Guardians. I believe it was in the Francisco Lindor deal, but then he kind of fell off a cliff for a little bit. But then he, signs a 1-year deal with the Rays, and now so far he's hitting 343. He had a couple hits today. I mean, he's just been tremendous for them. And then Christian Colabero, the rookie shortstop for them, he was 1 for 3 today, average at 288. So they got some guys in this lineup. Paredes at third base, their power hitter, Isaac Paredes, he's hitting 270, 5 homers as of right now. He had an RBI hit today. So, yeah, Paredes was 0 for 4. But they got the Rays have some guys in this lineup that can hit. And, they're no slouch over team, right? We've said this. And, the Yankees pitching wise, things pretty much for the most part went well. It wasn't until Caleb Ferguson came in extras with the runner on second. He gave up a couple runs. He just did not have it. But Clay Holmes pitched the ninth and he was perfect. Did walk a guy, give up a hit, but it was with 2 outs. But other than that, he was great. Had 2 strikeouts. Caleb Ferguson, my goodness, he's been that one weak link in our bullpen. He can't locate the fastball. The velocity is not there from what it was with the Dodgers. He's just leaving way too much of it over the heart of the plate. Not good. Gave up the 2 runs and 6.23 RA in 9 games and 8.2 innings pitched. I mean, yeah, it's not good. It's not good at all. He has been by far the worst arm so far in our bullpen. And a lot of people were upset by him coming into the game. But, what are you going to do? The Yankees bullpen has been so taxed. Who else are you going to bring in there? You don't have Birdie. Hamilton pitched the other day. You pitched Holmes in the 9th. Dennis Santana pitched the other day. Are you going to bring Victor Gonzalez? Who? I just don't understand. Just people just get upset because they're upset, right? But it was just one of those days. It was a crappy day for this team offensively, and it got exposed pitching wise in terms of when Ferguson came in the game, because obviously he didn't have his stuff. And then that, when you're down 2 runs, it feels like you're down 10 runs because this lineup just couldn't hit today. Totally inexcusable performance. Like I said, Soto had the best game by far, 2 for 4, a couple of hits. Volpe was 0 for 4 with a strikeout. Judge 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts. The Golden Sombrero. He continues to struggle so far to start this year. Rizzo was 1 for 4. Verdugo was 1 for 4. Grisham 0 for 2. He hasn't even had a hit yet to start this year. And look, Grisham hasn't played much, but coming over, he was a guy with San Diego. He was included in the Juan Soto trade. Last year, he hit under 200. He strikes out a lot. You're mainly just putting him in center field to give Aaron Judge a day off in center, and because Grisham's one of the best defensive outfielders for his position. He's not gonna do a whole lot with the bat. He does have some pop, but again, he struggles with the strikeouts. So yeah, and he's got 12 at bats, no hits yet. That sucks. Giancarlo Stanton had a pinch hit, but he grounded into the double play. He pinch hit for Grisham, grounded in a double play. Yeah, I don't know. It just sucks that they couldn't play Stanton today. I understand. Look, they were going for the better defense. They wanted to give Judge the day off. in center. So then you had to DH him, and then that takes Stanton out of the lineup. But I mean, could have really used him in there, especially coming off the Toronto series when he had the home run. So yeah, I mean, I would have liked to see him in the lineup today, but whatever. It didn't work logistically because if you're, DHing Judge, you're not going to put Stanton in the outfield, obviously. So the Yankees, had Stanton pinch hit late in the game, and then the new outfielder the Yankees acquired via waivers from the Dodgers, Taylor Trammell. He was once a top prospect with man, the team is slipping from me. He was a top prospect, top 10 prospect in baseball. Was a trade deadline piece in 2019 and 2020 for the Reds and San Diego Padres. Made his major league debut with the Mariners, played 121 games at the major league level with the Mariners and the Dodgers. So yeah, he was once a really highly regarded prospect. He's a lefty bat. He's 26 years old, so he's still pretty young. He's got a little bit of pop, some speed. Again, he was claimed off waivers from the Dodgers this past Thursday, and the Yankees designated Kevin Smith for assignment. He's just some minor league infielder. So, yeah, and this is a guy just really hasn't really panned out so far. His career, his stats as of right now. I mean, he's only had 6 at bats, no hits so far to start this year. But in 2023, he played in 22 games with the Mariners, had 46 plate appearances, 3 home runs, 11 RBIs, batting average of 130. The year prior, he hit 196 with 4 home runs, and then he hit 160 in 2021 in 51 games, 8 home runs. So yeah, he's been in the big leagues for a few years. Only 26 years old, but really hasn't hit his stride at all. Who knows if he ever will? But it was a depth move for the Yankees, clearly, which I'm totally fine with. He's got some speed. Maybe he can pinch run down the line. And yeah, I mean, and also too with the lineup today, I'm not gonna go nuts with the lineup, but there were some things I didn't understand. Well, one of them really only being starting Jahmai Jones over Gleyber Torres. Jahmai Jones, Yankees, he was a waiver wire pickup in spring training, minor league deal guy that the Yankees signed. And I mean, he's never been anything special in his career. Like as a player, yeah, he's 26 years old, but he's second baseman. But I mean, his numbers are just. I don't even know if he was second round pick. He's never been a top prospect. I don't know. I would just rather you just let Torres play it out. Look, I know you want to give Torres a day off, because he's scuffling, but Jahmai Jones, I mean, just watching the at-bats today from him, it was terrible. It was awful. And I just really don't understand trotting this guy out there who has a career 170 batting average, no home runs. I mean, what are we doing? Let Torres play and get out of his slump. Okay, if you want to look, we had the day off on Thursday. Okay, it's not like we've been playing consecutive days in a row, for weeks on end and no day off. We had the day off on Thursday. Just put him in the lineup. I don't understand sitting him for Jahmai Jones. I mean, look, I know Gleyber Torres is terrible right now, but I would still take terrible Gleyber Torres and the chances with that than Jahmai Jones any day. This guy's a career minor leaguer. Had stints with the Angels, Orioles, Brewers, Yankees. Signed him this winter, but he's not good. His spring training stats weren't great. So yeah, he made the team simply because the Yankees needed a backup infielder, and he was. Nobody in their camp really, in terms of minor league guys, for backups played well. So he was like the odd man out that was going to make it. So I really just don't understand that. Would have rather just seen Torres in there today. Yeah, look, I know he got the pinch hit opportunity, in the ninth. And, I think he didn't strike out. I don't know what he did. I left at that point. I knew the game was over when it was 2-0. Caleb Ferguson came in, gave up the hit. I knew it was over. Yeah. Luke Weaver, though, came in after Cortes. He was great, pitching an inning. Fastball looked great, up to 95. We didn't really see that last year from him in terms of velocity. Velocity for him has been up a tick. He looked great, had a strikeout. Clay Holmes was great, really quick inning outside of the one hit, the base hit. He got two quick outs, gave up the base hit, then, you know, got the last out for that ninth inning. And yeah, it was really just Caleb Ferguson that pitched bad on the pitching end. And the rest of it, goes on the offense. The offense just no excuse to be this bad today. Couldn't do anything. Couldn't back up Cortes. I kept saying inning after inning, we got to get runs. We got to get runs. Like Cortes is just going out there and just carving up these Rays hitters just with his stuff. Like, fastball. His fastball looked as good as it's looked in a few years today. I mean, it was awesome. And the Rays, you could just see like the swings. They were swinging out of their shoes, trying to just crush him. The Rays have some hitters that can hit lefties, specifically Yandy Diaz. Yandy Diaz. He's a great player for the Rays. He was really good last year. And he's a guy that can really mash against left-handed pitching. So, I mean, he's 32 years old. He's their first baseman. But here's the stats. Yandy Diaz is all right. So far this year, he's only 9 for 32. Actually, 9 for 32. He's 9 for 32 so far this year with 3 RBIs and 35 plate appearances against left-handed pitchers so far this year. So 9 hits in 32 at-bats. That's a 281 average. 3 RBIs. That's pretty good to start. And I'm trying to find his 2023 because I remember seeing it. Oh, yeah. Look at this. Yandy Diaz, according to StatMoose, in 2023 had a batting average of 355 with 10 home runs, 32 RBIs, and 139 plate appearances against left-handed pitchers. So, yeah, he's right on schedule now in terms of his production right now compared to last year against left-handed hitters. So, yeah, the Rays got a couple guys in this lineup that can match left-handed hitters, left-handed pitchers. And, Diaz had a couple hits today, but, he also struck out against Cortes. So, yeah, he didn't really – Cortes didn't give up any home runs or anything. He really, limited any chance the Rays had at hitting off him. The times he did get hits, he was able to work out of it. He was able to bear down, didn't have any problem with his command, throwing strikes. Like I said, when it was like in the fourth, fifth inning, he was at, I think, like under 40 pitches. I mean, that's amazing. That's why he was able to go so deep into this game because it was just quick at bats, one after the other. The game was flying by. It was like the seventh inning, and it was like I think at that point, like not even 3:00. It was the seventh inning. It was like 2:30. Like the game was like had barely gone on for over an hour, and it was already like the seventh inning. It was nuts. So yeah, and I just want to say too, also, or actually before I get to this, I want to point out for the Rays too. I mentioned the other day, guys, I said, watch out for Zach Eflin. Zach Eflin is a guy who has good career numbers against the Yankees, specifically last year in his outings against them. He had a few outings against the Yankees last year. This is his first against them this year. And today he was great. Let's go through it. 6 innings pitched, 3 hits, 6 strikeouts. ERA is now down to 3.68. He was great. Eflin, was really moving his pitches. The Yankees really couldn't hit a whole lot of balls hard off of him. Other than the Juan Soto hits, nothing was really barreled up. So, yeah, he was to blame for making the game pretty boring on the Yankees' part in terms of offense. And then the Rays bullpen, that has been scuffling to start this year, came out and was really good. They went to a guy named Colin Pache, a lefty, after Eflin, and he was able to pitch the 7th inning, gave up 1 hit to Verdugo, got out of it. Then they went to the right-handed pitcher, Phil Martin, who Yankee fans might be familiar with. He pitched a lot against the Yankees when he was with the Astros. 31-year-old, 6'2", and he went an inning pitched, gave up a walk, did have a strikeout. He was mostly good. Then they went to Jason Adam, and again, same thing, inning, strikeout, and then Clevenger, inning, strikeout to wrap it up. So, yeah, even when the Yankees had the stupid extra inning rule with the runner on second in the bottom of the 10th, they moved the runner over to third, and then they couldn't get him in. So, yeah, I mean, pretty embarrassing. No excuse. Really rough day for this team on offense, compared to yesterday. And look, yesterday, they wouldn't have won that game if not for Juan Soto. And look, Juan Soto can't do everything. Slumps happen. It's part of baseball. I'm hopeful that Judge will get out of this, but it's not just Judge. There's a lot of other guys that need to start picking it up. Can't expect Juan Soto to do everything. When we got to the ninth inning and Soto came up, I was like, why would the Rays even pitch this guy? Why would the pitcher on the mound was Jason Adam? I'm like, why would Adam even pitch to Soto to start off the ninth inning with Judge on deck? Why would he do that? Why would he take his chances with Soto? Soto hit a deep fly ball to the warning track and left. He just got under the pitch. If not, home run. But I knew when he hit it, he missed it, and he knew it too. I mean, I've I've gotten good over time going to Yankee games to see the sound of the bat, off the bat, the trajectory to know okay, that's not going out, or no, that is going out. I can have a really good sense if a guy got it or not. In terms of home run. So, and I knew he didn't get it, and Soto knew he didn't get it. You can see his reaction, out of the box, and he knew he just got under it. Fly ball to the warning track, another 5-6 feet, would have been a home run. So, yeah, I mean, but you can't expect Soto to do everything. I was just surprised that the Rays actually pitched to Soto there in the ninth, because it was 0-0, and one swing, Juan Soto could have saved the day again, but it wasn't meant to be. And honestly, if I were the Rays, I would have walked. I would have walked Soto. I don't know why they threw him strikes at all. And ran that risk, because he just missed that ball. And then Judge comes up, strikes out again. So yeah, I mean, and that's kind of with game planning, right? You got to, obviously you still take Judge seriously. He's just a guy that's in a horrible slump right now. But again, you have Juan Soto and Aaron Judge hitting back to back. Who would you rather face right now? Obviously, Aaron Judge. Juan Soto is red hot, scorching hot right now at the plate. And, you'd rather face Aaron Judge. So I was just kind of surprised there that they actually pitched to Soto and tried to get him out. But, Judge 0 for 4, like I said. And Austin Wells, man. Brutal start for him. He was 0 for 2 today. Did have a walk, but then a strikeout. Average now at 0.91. I mean, I know we're not even through April, but we're very close to having the conversation where it needs to be Jose Trevino, as of right now, catching 75% of the games. Jose Trevino, I got on his case at the beginning of the year because he got off to a rough start offensively, and he's nothing spectacular with the bat, but he's been better than Austin Wells. And Austin Wells, I know the Yankees like him, and I like him too for the lefty power bat he is. He came up last year. He was really good in September. But the Yankees need to win games right now. And, if this production continues a little bit while longer with Wells, I would seriously consider just, starting Trevino 75% of the time, and maybe having Wells be the backup for a little bit. And then if you can't turn it around, I mean, a couple months down the line, you might have to demote him. I don't want to jump to big things, but look, he's 24 years old. He's still young. He's been up for less than a year. Okay, he's only been up for what, like 2 months, if that. So I'm just saying we need to see Trevino catch more right now, because any production we can get out of catcher is a bonus. I mean, we're not going to get a ton of production as it is, because neither guy's hitting right now, and Trevino doesn't profile as a a catcher that has a big bat. He doesn't. But right now, he is the one doing better. And and also he has the defensive edge too over Wells. So you just got to make that switch, and you got to start Trevino more, at least for now, because Wells just isn't cutting it right now. It's really hard to watch his at bats. He's clearly off, getting under balls and stuff. So yeah, Cabrera starting to cool down a bit. He was 0 for 4 today with a strikeout. Struck out the end of the game, and Rizzo had a hit, but really, nobody really hit the ball super hard today other than Soto. Just sucks. It really, really sucks. It was a very bland game. When I was sitting in the bleacher creatures, I was just like, let's get that one big hit. I just want to see the stadium go nuts because it was a good crowd today. John Sterling, you know, retirement and all the festivities and whatnot. But yeah, man, it just, you can see the crowd get really frustrated. And I want to address something too. After Aaron Judge struck out his fourth time, the crowd booed him somewhat significantly. Okay, it wasn't like crazy loud, but you could hear it, definitely. And he heard it. They asked him after the game, and Judge, with the, you know, good responses that he gives, appropriate responses, he said, yeah, I mean, I've heard worse, but I would boo myself too if, given my performance. So the guy is frustrated. Let's not act, obviously, like, you know, we're pissed off and he's not pissed off. No, he's clearly pissed off. He's the Yankee captain. He understands the responsibility that holds on and off the field. So he's pissed. He's pissed. The fan base is pissed. I'm pissed off. But are we seriously now at that point when we're not even through a month yet and we're booing the guy? I mean, do we not remember when Derek Jeter went 0 for 35 to start the year and he got booed? And we're seriously not going to learn from this. We're already booing this guy and forgetting what he's done for this organization, this city. Yes, it's a dreadful start. Am I very annoyed, very frustrated that he's in this massive slump, the worst of his career, mind you, to start? Yes, I am. It's incredibly frustrating. He struck out 4 times today. I was just like, what are you doing? Like, and you could tell it's getting in his head because Aaron Judge is very good at having solid plate discipline for a big power hitter. He's very good at that. Everybody likes to point out how Juan Soto is, this guy who just knows the strike zone so well, and that's true. He's the best at it in the game. But you also want to know who's really good at controlling the strike zone usually? Aaron Judge. Nowhere as good as Juan Soto. Okay, don't get me wrong. Juan Soto is a mastermind when it comes to laying off the right pitches and working the count. But Aaron Judge, what he's improved upon since coming up to the major leagues, since getting a cup of coffee in the big leagues in 2016 and then his rookie year in 2017, one of the things he's improved upon is the strikeouts. He's cut down on the strikeouts, and he's done that by understanding, as he's gotten older as a veteran, how pitchers are going after him, how they are making him chase, throwing a lot of sliders away to him and balls up in the zone because of his uppercut swing, launch angle swing. He understands, he's studied, he's a smart hitter, how pitchers are approaching him. But it's gotten to the point where Aaron Judge, he is pressing. He's off to this bad start, hitting 179, 0 for 4 today, 4 strikeouts. He had 3 strikeouts the other day. So now it's like in his mind a little bit. He's like, oh, I got to get going. I got to get going. I got to get going. I have Soto hitting in front of me who's doing all these things, and I'm not pulling my weight. That's kind of the mind game you play with yourself that I think Judge is playing with himself right now. Like he's playing that mind game like, oh, I got to get going. I got to get going. So watching the game today from the stands, he was swinging at so many pitches outside the zone that he usually lays off, pitches down and away, pitches up out of the zone. And that's clearly a sign of a guy who's just so frustrated. He's trying to put on that one swing to change the game and get out of this slump. He's pressing because He's annoyed, and I've played baseball. Look, I know when a hitter gets annoyed, they start going outside their comfort zone and they start swinging at pitches they know they should be taking, laying off. They start getting extra aggressive just because of that frustration, right? That's pent up, that's building up, and it leads to plate discipline worsening. It leads to more strikeouts, and he found himself a lot tonight, nearly every at bat, practically, if not every one, where he was down in the hole 0-2, just like that, swinging at pitches that were not, you know, pitches he should be swinging at. They were pitches, and they pitched him correctly, and he was chasing. When Judge is on, obviously he's, his awareness, his eye for the plate, he's going to be much more disciplined because the confidence is there and what he's done is there. So he's going to be able to sit back and wait for his pitch. But now he's scuffling so much to where he's putting that extra pressure on himself to get the big hit, drive in the big run. And it's causing him to chase more pitches out of the zone, therefore more strikeouts, therefore more groans from the crowd. And it's just building up. It's just really building up. So honestly, I don't know if maybe give him a day off, let him clear his head, kind of like they did for Torres today. I don't know if that's the answer, but I'm not gonna. My only real concern, obviously, Aaron Boone said in the post game, it's Aaron Judge. He'll be fine, and I agree with that. Okay, I don't want to blow this up into some big thing, but my only concern would be is something lingering from spring training that could be a cause for this. Something with his body. I mean, we know Aaron Judge's injury history, right? Last year with running into the Dodger Stadium wall, the toe, that's all supposedly fine. But I'm just a little concerned because he was beat up in spring training, supposedly, had some ribcage stuff, soreness, whatever. And, that concerns me just because it was kind of just something that they just kind of went along with and monitored with a little bit of rest and this and that and saying, oh, he's not all the way built up and this and that, which is fair. I mean, he didn't get a lot of at-bats in spring training, so you could also make the argument, look, he's not fully ramped up yet. A lot of guys have, that full, almost 2-month period to really ramp up, February, March. And he didn't really have that because he was sidelined a bit, saying spring beat up and whatnot and ribcage soreness and whatever. And so, yeah, I mean, you can make that argument and say, yeah, he's just still rusty. He didn't get enough at bats in spring training. That's a very valid argument. But also on the flip side, you could also be concerned and be like, look, I mean, I just hope there's nothing there. I mean, with his history and his age now, I believe he's 32 now. I mean, it's something that is a bit concerning to me. Granted, his slow start. It doesn't mean that's what it is. I could be totally wrong, but that's the only thing that's concerning to me. I just hope there's not something underlying there that's contributing to this bad start. If not, then I'm not concerned. I think he'll turn it around. And granted that he already has 3 home runs, it's not like, if he had no home runs yet to start the year, then I'd be like, okay, yeah, I'm concerned. But he has a couple home runs. We've seen it in a couple games this year where he has shown his power. So I'm not overly concerned. Let's say I'm like a little bit concerned because we're approaching the end of May, still hitting under 200. So yeah, I mean, let's call it that. I'm a little concerned, but the fact that people are booing him after today is utterly ridiculous. Okay, I was frustrated after the 4 strikeouts. I was, I kind of rolled my eyes and this, that. I was annoyed, which everybody has the right to be annoyed. Okay. When your star player is off to a dreadful start, yeah, it's annoying. You have every right to be frustrated, annoyed, surprised, but you are booing this guy. You are booing the captain of the New York Yankees, who for the last several years, without him, you don't make the playoffs. 2022, if you don't have Aaron Judge, you don't make the playoffs. 2023, the reason we didn't make the playoffs, because Aaron Judge got hurt in LA. 2021, same thing. 2020, the same thing. So, and pretty much nearly every year that he's been here since 2017. So you want to blame this guy who has carried this team for years because he's had one bad month and you want to boo him this early in the season. Granted, I know it's not ideal. It's terrible. But you don't think he's upset by that? You don't think he's annoyed? Or do you just think that because he's been paid that, oh, he doesn't care? Like, I've seen that attitude so much on Yankee Twitter, and it kind of drives me nuts because you need to listen to Judge's interviews. You need to listen to him speak about how freaking annoyed he is that he's been here for several years, dating back to 2016. So 8 years now, going on 8 years, and he doesn't have a World Series ring. And looking in the rear front mirror, kind of wondering, am I going to be the next Don Mattingly? That gets to him. That annoys him. Listen to the video he does, a podcast with Sean Casey, talking about seeing all the pennants in Yankee Stadium, and now none of the ones up there are from when he was playing, and that really irritates him. Go back and listen to that interview the next time before you go and boo Aaron Judge and make these wild accusations that this guy all of a sudden sucks and he doesn't care. He sucks right now. Yes, he's in a horrible slump. But that doesn't mean he's not going to pull out of it. You can have some concern if you want, like I do, in terms of just hoping that there's nothing underlying there that's causing this. But other than that, stop it. Just stop, because you make our fan base look horrible. I saw someone on Twitter today. I saw people on Twitter today, too, talking about, oh, that ball, the double that drove in the first run for Ferguson in the 10th. Juan Soto should have had that ball. He took a bad route. He cost us the game. Are you freaking kidding me? Sure, yes, it was not a good route by Juan Soto, but he's not a defensive first outfielder. Understand why we have this guy. And if it wasn't for Juan Soto, guess what? We don't win yesterday's game. So stop it. Save it. Enough. I am annoyed. I am frustrated too. But it's embarrassing when you're at Yankee Stadium and the Yankees are booing their own captain. It doesn't make any sense to me. Aaron Judge, all these guys throughout Yankee history, they expect it when it's a bad start because I understand that's New York, but it just doesn't make sense to me, especially the Yankee captain, okay? That's where it doesn't make sense to me. If you want to boo another guy like Torres or Rizzo or whoever who's gotten off to a bad start, fine. I don't agree with it, but fine. But the Yankee captain, you're going to boo the Yankee captain for one very slow start. After the guy broke Roger Maris's home run record, a few years back, and was the reason, his absence last year was the reason this team didn't make the playoffs. You're going to boo that guy? Then don't cheer for him when he starts doing well. That's all I'm going to say. I mean, that's got to stop, guys. I understand people are frustrated, but that's got to stop. I didn't really hear it in the Bleacher Creatures, which is a good thing. I mean, those people are real baseball fans. Everything out there is ritual. I didn't know too much about it, before sitting out there. But then sitting out there, I learned a lot. Obviously the roll call chance that only happens the first inning, top of the first, right? Then it's done the rest of the game. But there's different chants that happen, different kinds of chants throughout the game. Such as when there's two strikes, like a certain, let's go Yankees claps chant will happen and other things. So it's really cool. So I'm not going to, if I heard a lot of that from the Bleacher Creatures, I would have been really disappointed. But they, for the most part, held their own. I have a lot of respect for those Yankee fans. Those are core diehard Yankee fans that have been there for decades, countless years. And I have a ton of respect. And I definitely want to go back and sit out there again because those guys are the true New Yorkers, the true fans. And they were upset too, but they're not, loudly booing their captain. I mean, come on, that's ridiculous. So yeah, I mean, that's just got to stop. Okay, let's pump the brakes. We're still in April. Today was an embarrassing loss. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It was terrible. Driving home was not fun, after that loss. I really just wanted to see a big hit, Bleacher Creatures go nuts, but it wasn't the day. Okay. So the most important thing tomorrow, they hopefully can take the series. They're going to face another decent Rays pitcher. I don't know if he's as good as Eflin, but Not going to be no layover pitcher. So let's just pump the brakes a little bit. And yeah, I mean, you can be frustrated. I'm massively frustrated. I had the time driving home to kind of analyze and think about all this and calm down, because that's why I wait to film these, because in the heat of the moment, I get really pissed, and just because I'm a true fan and this and that. But then I can drive home, I can collect my thoughts, about the game, this, that, and then move forward, because that's what's important. So I'm trying to think about what else. There was something else on my mind that I wanted to address. I can't think of it, but yeah, I mean, it's not a good day. Yankees only get 4 hits, 2 of them from Soto. Rays had 9 hits. They really made it capitalize in that 10th inning, with the runner on second. And yeah, I mean, and also too with like Soto, like actually, yeah, this is what I wanted to talk about. So you're booing the Yankee captain. It doesn't make a good impression on Soto. Soto, we want him to stay here long term. And if this is what this guy is seeing, like, oh my gosh, Aaron Judge, he's been here for, you know, 8 years and he's the Yankee captain and he's getting booed, like, that's kind of risky, because that might leave like almost like a bad taste in his mouth. Like, do I really want this? Like the rest of my career? Maybe he does. Juan Soto grew up a Yankee fan, so I have no idea what's going through his mind. It looks like on the outskirts that he loves it here, and obviously he's playing well, so it's easier, to embrace all that. We'd have to see how he would handle it if he does end up struggling, which he will at some point, but to what effect, we don't know. But at the end of the day, it's very easy to say that when you're firing on all cylinders and you're playing like Juan Soto is. But yeah, I mean, but it doesn't make a good impression. Like, it doesn't, it's risky. You know what I mean? Some players could look at that and be like, I don't know if I want that, So yeah, I don't know. And another thing I'm going to say too, I'm going to be really honest with you guys here. So when I used to go to Yankee games, I would rarely boo. I didn't want to boo, like other fans that sometimes just constantly boo. Like the Josh Donaldson. The most recent that I can remember, the player that I booed was Josh Donaldson. Just because I couldn't stand Donaldson. Not just the fact that he wasn't good. He was terrible, right? But he would just do stupid things like bat flipping pop-ups to center field or right field or whatever. Balls that were doubles off the wall that he should have known weren't going to go out. He was bat flipping, not running out of the box. He just did so many like ego, arrogant things that would just annoy the heck out of me. And on top of the fact of him just simply not being good, the Yankees traded for a third baseman well into his 30s who was just way past his prime. It was a terrible, terrible deal. So, and was being paid a bunch of money, so it was just terrible. So obviously he got a lot of boost. So that was like the most recent player, I finally just got so fed up with. I did boo him a little bit, but other than that, I could count on one hand like how many players I booed in my life. Not a lot. And it's usually, it doesn't happen for a very long time. And to be honest, I've stopped that. I don't boo anymore, because my dad, he told me, I think about like a year and a half ago, he would tell me about booing players, like, you don't boo any Yankee players because you respect the pinstripes. And after he told me that and I heard that, I was like, wow, like that really like makes a lot of sense. Like, I didn't think of that, And so ever since I've heard that, I don't boo players anymore. I won't do it. I someone could strike out or just be in a massive slump and I'll get really pissed off and I'll just be like, what the frig, like this and that. But I will not, I'll shake my head, do whatever, but I will not boo the player. I won't, because I'm going to respect the uniform. I agree with my dad. You respect the pinstripes, you respect the uniform, you respect the history, the players that have come before, but also ownership, George Steinbrenner and Billy Martin and all those guys that really carried the Yankee legacy and what the pinstripes mean and what they're known for this team, for this city, for the franchise as a whole. Booing that, can be seen as disrespectful, and I actually do agree with that. So ever since hearing that from my dad, I've never forgot that, and I don't boo the players anymore. I don't. So, but Michael K also said it best too. Like, fans purchase a ticket, they have a right to boo, which I agree with as well. Just because I don't agree with booing a player, it doesn't mean I'm going to go tell someone else that they can't boo that player. That's just my own belief. But Michael K said, look, like if you have a ticket, like you can, that's your right. Like you showed up, you're not satisfied, you can boo. But the Yankee captain, I mean, even he is probably going to say on Monday, that's ridiculous. Give it a rest, people. So yeah, hopefully Judge gets out of it soon. I heard a guy in the bleachers creature make a good comment too. He's like, oh boy, he's like, this carries on into May, it's going to get real loud. And I agree with him. I think people are just really getting, past the breaking point a little bit because it is a long slump and nobody else is hitting. So it's not like, oh yeah, Judge is in this massive slump and, all these other guys are hitting. No, outside of Judge, it's really just been Juan Soto as of most recently. There's other guys in the lineup too right now that are currently in slumps or starting to get into slumps. So, when all of that happens, it's magnified, and it's just worse, so it's not good. No, it's not ideal. But at the end of the day, tomorrow is a new day. Hopefully the Yankees can get the series win. And then after tomorrow, the Oakland A's come to town. The Oakland A's are very bad, but not as bad as the Houston Astros. So, that should be a series with the Yankees. We'll have some light work, obviously, because the Rays are a pesky team, like I said the other night. The A's are 8-12, 2.5 games out of first. The Astros are 7-14. My goodness. So the A's are coming into town after this series against the Rays tomorrow. And now the Yankees currently sit at 14-7, still a game out. Still a game up in the standings with the Orioles in second place, Blue Jays in third. The Rays are now 12-10, and the Red Sox are 11-10. So still, every AL East team is above 500. Pretty wild to fathom. I wonder if that will, how consistent that will remain. How much longer? Just very, very fascinating. But easily the toughest division in baseball, like we've said. And tomorrow's a new day, guys. So very frustrating, very awful game. Tough loss. No way to wrap it up. You can feel however you want to feel. I'm certainly annoyed and frustrated, especially after yesterday's win. But that's baseball, right? Baseball, you have one win like yesterday where you're like on top of the world in terms of vibes and feelings. And then you have a game like today. Just a complete crapshoot. Awful game. Offense did not show up. They need to be better. And I think they will be better. And hopefully they show up tomorrow against Tampa and can take take this series against a always competitive Tampa team. Otherwise, it was a great day for baseball. If you guys went to the game, it was, as you know, it was, weather really was great. It was very cold, kind of rainy in the morning, but it cleared up for game time. It was awesome. The John Sterling tribute was amazing. If you haven't seen the video, go check it out on the Yankees Instagram page or Twitter. And I'll talk to you guys soon. All right. Have a great rest of your evening, everybody. And let's go Yankees.